What is up, crew? Welcome to Seek the Edge podcast with me, Kelsey Lensman, where our goal, our mission through this podcast, through coaching, which you're going to hear from one of my girls today that was in coaching in our events, is to challenge you outside of your comfort zone so you can tap into the capability within and, for us, the God-given potential within. And today is such a special one because when I ask somebody to come on, it's not just, okay, am I trying to get anybody to come? There is a purpose, there is an intention behind it, and it's somebody that I genuinely respect, their work ethic, their character, and just what they've been through. And so today we have Laura Conaway. She is a current client of mine and has been with us on and off for the past, 2.5, 3 years. About 2.5, 3 years first, took a little bit time away, which always happens, then came back on another big goal of hers. And I'm just incredibly excited to share her wisdom, her journey through not just coaching, our coaching, but through her process, and to hopefully inspire little Laura's out there that their capability is more. So Laura, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Kelsey.
Yeah.
That was the most perfect intro, and thanks for lifting me up even before we start talking.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited because, like I told you, I have seen such a difference in you this second round coaching you than the first one. And I know there was a different coach the first one, which she's amazing. But there's another level to you now. There's another level of intention. There's another level of, okay, like I'm going to get after it. And I'm going to bring us back real quick because the first time you came to us, you really didn't know anything about macros as much. You really didn't know much about, like, you trained before. Like, you had a pretty solid training foundation, but you're kind of coming in the first time, like, eyes open, okay, like, let's get after it. And so can you give us real quick a previous Laura where she was at first coming in?
Yeah, so originally I grew up in a small town, so I played all sports. Yeah. Every sport that was offered, I was luckily able to participate. Softball, basketball. I ran track for 1 year. Cheerleading, volleyball.
Cheerleading?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And then went to college, and I did the whole cardio. And looking back on that, I kind of wish I knew then what I know now, because it would look totally different. It was like, I'm going to go on the elliptical, and then it was, we're going to go out every night, as college people do. And then after college, came to Columbus, found you guys well into being in Columbus. I would follow YouTube workouts, influencers, I didn't know what to do, but I always worked out. It may not have had good structure or programming, but I just kind of muddled my way through it. And then I found you guys, and it was like, hey, we're going to give you this program. We're going to give you macro ranges, which I love doing that rather than meal plans. Meal plans aren't good for me. And then, it just kind of led into getting into powerlifting and really seeing where I could push my limits in lifting weights and what my body could do.
Yeah. And so that was kind of the first round of it, of like, oh man, okay, I'm more capable here than I thought. Okay, there's structure, there's intention to this. And then took a little bit of time back away and then came back with a really big goal of like, hey, I want to look the best that I can on my birthday, physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, can I be the best human that I can be as this next birthday comes around? And I was so grateful for you, because you didn't come 3 months before your birthday, you came a full year.
Yeah.
And it was just this intention of, I want to play the long game for this. And for those that don't know, the long game is, let's stay to maintenance for not a month, for 4, 5, 6 months. Let's go into a strategic then cut after that, depending on what your goal is. And you just continually had this long game mentality, which is one of the reasons, there's many, but one of the reasons why you're seeing so much progress now, and you've had intention and consistency through that long range focus. And so what was the difference of you coming in the second time, and what changed between that first time and second time for you?
I think when I was with you guys the first time, I was very much into the all or nothing mindset.
Yeah.
Was if I'm going to have this goal, I can't do this, that, or the other thing. It's like I had to choose between being healthy or seeing my friends, having date nights, or, you know, and now it's like, no, you can do both. Yeah. It may just look different. It may take more discipline or sacrifice, but it doesn't mean that you can't hang out with the people that you care about. And then two, I realized that it's really not about what foods or what drinks you're having. It's that quality time with those people, conversations that you're having. And it doesn't have to necessarily revolve around food and drink. And so, yeah, this time it's just more of balance. Yeah. And I think earlier, I'm losing my train of thought now. Earlier, I would let things, if I messed up a day, I would let it get to me and it would screw up the rest of my week. Yeah. Whereas now, it's like, okay, well, I screwed this up. Tomorrow's a new day. So I don't let stuff like that hold me back. If it happens, I acknowledge it and say, okay, tomorrow's better.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the irony of this, because since we're just going into the deep end real quick, and then I'll pull us out into like, what have you learned about yourself and all of that? Because I think there's so much gold. You talked about discipline, and for many people, discipline can feel very restrictive. Oh, I can't, I'm not able to. And with that discipline, though, you have been, I will say this, the most consistent person I've had, bar none, over the past year. I don't try to compare people, but it's just your consistency is another level. I'm even like, dang, this is impressive. But with that discipline too, though, or that consistency, you've also gone out and enjoyed yourself with friends and family. Like, you haven't had this, like you said, all or nothing mentality of like, well, I can only do this, so I can't be like a fun human. And I think that's what a lot of people get challenged with, is they have such a discipline or consistency and such a negative mindset. So how do you think about like the discipline or the consistency piece of it? What have you realized through your journey about what it is and what it actually gives you?
I think how I like to look at it is, if you think about it in a long term, like, I'm going to be in a cut for this amount of time, or my birthday isn't until this day, then you're going to be like, well, I don't know if I can do that for that long. So how I like to look at it is, I'm going to look at today. I'm going to do what I have set for myself, my workout, my steps, my macros, try to hit that as best as I can for that day. And then if I hit it, awesome, do that again tomorrow. And if I don't do that, okay, try again the next day. What I've come to realize is that the more momentum you build in hitting those days, the more motivated you are to keep it going. So the more, like, I forget how many straight weeks I had of just every day.
You were on it.
Yeah, and I was even surprised. I'm like, wow, sweet, like, this is great. But I'm like, I also knew this isn't going to be forever. I will have a day or two that I screw up, and that's okay. But I've done this well, and I just use that as like a fire.
So it sounds like you're saying, okay, I'm going to focus on winning the day today, right? And we actually talked about this a couple weeks ago. Hey, if I'm out of range or this happens, not everything is going to be derailed by a day. And I told you that instead of getting emotionally into it and getting so frustrated and feeling, oh my gosh, I just failed. No, you didn't fail. Okay, let's learn what happened. Like, why did we do whatever thing? Like, what allowed us, or what was going through our brain during that? And when we can extract data of, oh man, well, actually, this was my mindset going into it, and that's why that happened. Or, hey, I really learned this about myself through this process. It allows you to take that kind of emotional feeling like a failure, because you're not, but allow you to learn for next time of like, okay, this is what I can do better. And that's what I've been really proud of you for, is you just keep on keeping on. And that's what I wanted to really dig in with you today, is because not many people can understand how to do that, especially in their fitness journey. And I always say, we're going to be doing fitness for the next 80 plus years, hopefully, God willing.
Yeah.
And so when we have that longer time horizon, it's like, oh, I don't need to have everything figured out in 10 weeks. I can take time to make those micro shifts, those 1% changes to be able to sustain that over time. You know, so I've just been so proud of you for that. It's been huge.
Thanks for saying that. And
Yeah.
I know I've told you, you know, it is nice to hear outside compliments, I guess, because one of the things that I've learned is that I do better when I know someone's watching. And I want to be totally self-sufficient in this area, but I'm just not there. And I think that's why I ended up coming back. Is I took that break, I realized, hey, I'm going to try this on my own. I know what to do. But then it would I'd fall back into old habits. Yeah. Not necessarily that my old habits were unhealthy. It just wasn't what I needed to do to get to the goal that I have. Yeah. So I was like, well, I know who to call.
I got you.
And so, yeah, I just was like, I need that extra person kind of watching over me and saying, yeah, you're doing good, or let's change this, or, you know, whatever. So thanks.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And I think, too, many people, whenever they're on their own, they're like, oh, they almost feel it as a failure of going back. And I, to this day, have a coach because they challenge me to level up. They challenge me to that next level. And not every season do I have that, but there's so much value in that. There's professional athletes that they have all these people in their corner, not just keeping them accountable, but to an extent, and challenging them to that next level. So I always say, I love you. You shouldn't need me forever. But there's going to be seasons that you really want to level up, that you're ready to take yourself. And why make it harder on yourself than you need to, I think is the way that I look at it, is make it as easy as you can to help yourself succeed. And if that means, hey, you know what, keep accountability in that, make it easy on yourself to do that. And also how much different perspective are other people going to be able to shed on your situation than you, because you're in your body, in your emotions, and in your mind. And at least for me, that is hard sometimes to allow myself to have that step back macro point of view.
Yeah, I think, you know, if I'm struggling, and this happened like a few weeks ago, I was just feeling like, why am I doing this? What is it really doing? You know, am I really making a big change? And then you were able to talk me through it and just be like, you know, giving me all the words of wisdom that you did. And it's like, I think internally I knew all that to be true, but it just helped hearing it from an outside person rather than me just saying it and being like, yeah, right, whatever, you don't know. But if somebody else is telling you, you're like, okay, this is right. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, 100%. What are like one or two things you've learned about yourself in this process?
Well, I've learned that, like I said, I do better with accountability. If I have somebody like a coach or a friend doing the thing with me, or I need to check in with that person, I always do better. Another thing that I've learned is that it's easier to achieve your goals when you are surrounded by like-minded people. It can be more challenging when your friends or whoever maybe don't have the same goals as you. Doesn't mean you can't hang out with them or spend time with them. It just may take more planning, or like I said earlier, sacrifice, just thinking ahead. How am I going to do this while still having a social life? You don't have to derail your goals and you can still have a good social life. You can do
you
both.
Hear what you're saying right now?
I know, which
this is
crazy.
because we talked about this.
I know.
4 months ago, there was a hesitation going into summertime.
Yeah,
not to cut you off, but I a little bit cut you off. I'm nervous about this.
Yeah, it was when we were starting my cut initially. I thought summer's coming. Like, this is when the outdoor activities begin. I was nervous, and then I'm like, you know, it's okay. It's not as hard as I made it out to be. Which brings me to my last thing that I've learned is, it is not scary to order food off of a menu that isn't, you know, packaged the way they want it to be sold. You can order random. And I used to think like, oh, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be, you know, that girl, or have the waiters or waitresses be like, oh, okay. Like, no one cares about you that much. Like, I think it may have been you who said, like, you're not that important.
It's Shelby, actually.
Yeah, okay. So props to Shelby, because that is so true. I used to think, like, oh, they're going to say, no one's going to say anything. Like, and if your friends say, oh, you know, that looks healthy, or you on a diet, be like, yeah, this is just what I want. Like, I'll feel better, and let it go. Odds are they're not thinking about it after that. Whereas before, I was just like overthinking it so much. And then when I did it, I was like, what did I make this out to be? So, like, why was it so scary? And it's really not. So yeah, you aren't that important.
We were on the book club call yesterday. We're going over The Mountain Is You. And that was one of the points about it. That can feel negative, like you're not that important. But when you understand what that means is not everyone's world revolves around you, which takes so much pressure off that you're putting on yourself of, okay, they might think, man, why is she ordering that? Or, man, that's pretty healthy. But at the end of the day, it's you that get to live with your decisions and be proud of the decisions that you're making. And it doesn't mean that you can't have ice cream some days. But, hey, are you staying in alignment with the goals that you have and the version of you that you want to become? And there's going to be some seasons that are more buckled down. And you know that that's not a forever thing, but you have stayed continuously. You talked about balance earlier, and I think that people that hear that word, that means, ooh, okay, I'm either not going over any goals, or, oh, I can be balanced here, and, you know, kind of be that half in, half out. And at least it's my belief of you can't be half in, half out when you're going after a big goal. Like, it just, your brain will talk you out of it 10 times out of 10 because it's going to choose the easier route. But like you said, that doesn't mean that you need to be this person that just stays at home 24/7. You can still be a fun human. And so it's almost contradictory when you say discipline and balance in the same sentence. But I think that's such a beautiful place that you've gotten to is, yes, you're both, and that's powerful. So what do you think about that, or what's your thought on balance and discipline together?
I think discipline and balance. So let's go discipline. Discipline and motivation are kind of the same. So if you have your discipline, you're going to have motivation in the beginning to do something new, and it's exciting, and you have like all the momentum going. And then if you stay consistent, you're going to get to your goals probably faster, because you're not going to be going up and down, good progress, bad progress, good progress, bad. It's all just going to be small daily habits built, stacked on top of each other. The same, you know, idea that we hear a lot of, habit stacking. But honestly, it's the simplest thing like that that'll make all the difference. So, and yeah, I love balance because I don't want a certain goal that I have to take over my entire life, because then I'll get burnt out and then question the whole process. But then that's when I'll have to look at the big picture and be like, okay, why did I set this goal in the first place? And then just be like, okay, yeah, these little things that I'm doing, I may not want to. I may not want to get all my steps in on a day, or I may want to have something else to eat. But it's like, if I do this now, my future self will thank me, and I want to do the things that future me will say, hey, good job doing that, even when you didn't want to. So,
how have you gotten to that mentality?
Honestly, I think it's just being surrounded by coaches and reading good books, listening to good podcasts. I mean, there are a lot of bad stuff out there too, like old me would have listened to anybody that called themselves a fitness influencer, and I would have been like, okay, I have to do this. Whereas I've come to realize it's really the simple things that get you to where you don't need to be fancy and get the latest and greatest fitness, whatever. If you do the tried and true exercises, that's what's going to work. So I think it just took a lot of trial and error, I think, and then just kind of realizing like, okay, this is what works for me. I'm not going to do all the bells and whistles. It's simple. It's to the point. It's consistent. It's day in and day out. And then, like I said before, if I have a off day, don't beat myself up. Like, it's going to happen, and that's okay.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing you say that is it's simple doesn't mean easy all
Right,
the time, right?
right.
It's so simple, and I think many people, myself included to an extent, we're trying to constantly find the hack of, oh, if I do this, then that's going to get me there either faster, or I don't have to go through the monotony of consistency of doing the simple things over and over to get the results. And that's what keeps a lot of people stuck, is they're constantly looking for what is the shortcut. They might not realize it. Well, let me try this out. Let me try this out. I'm not saying that we are this mecca end all be all, right? There's a lot of great coaches out there and great programs, but it comes back to doing the simple, consistent things incredibly freaking well over a long period of time. Like that is how you get to the goals, whether it be body composition, whether it be strength, whether it be muscle development. It is literally just doing the simple things right. Are you sleeping? How are you fueling consistently? Are you training consistently? Are you taking care of your mindset and just the steps? Like, it's just those simple things that I think many people want to hack the system, and social media does a really good job of convincing you that they have this thing that nobody else has. No, they're just lying to you. It's just marketing.
Yeah.
But I love that you said that, because that is how you've gotten to where you are today. And I know there's previous, maybe the version of you before, or also previous Lauras that are listening to this that they're like, yeah, I was trying to find the different thing to get me there, when it's doing the same dang thing consistently over time. That's going to get you where you want to be.
Yeah, so true. I mean, the shortcut aspect is such a huge thing, because you have all these fitness related products and supplements and pills for this or something for that, and then you're just like, what is that really doing? And two, now with where we are in the world, people are more focused on what you put into your body. And I think you don't know what that kind of stuff is doing unless it's scientifically studied, and finding those reputable companies can be hard too. So you need to know and trust the supplier of who's making what you're taking.
Yeah. With thinking about the long-term mentality, what allowed you to come in last November with being okay with the long-term mentality?
I think just knowing that good and sustainable change takes a while. There's no fast track to goals that you have that you can keep. I think if you go into something too quickly, it's not going to last. And two, what I've enjoyed about our time this time is it's been slow, which is good, because I'm not, shocked, and it's been a slow decrease of, getting into this cut. It wasn't a drastic, okay, now I'm hungry all the time. It was just very gradual, and it just feels natural. And it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I'm so hungry, I can't take it anymore. It's, yeah, okay, this is the normal progression of what comes next, and realizing that and being okay with it and being like, okay, this is me getting closer to my goal. And so just understanding that good things to have take time.
Yeah. Man, when you came in November, we always hop on a call, right?
Yeah.
And I said, there's one of two paths we can take. We can take the one that is my preference, meaning the long-term game that's going to get you the best place. Or I know many people that initially come in, they're like, oh, that's just uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to be in maintenance for 4 to 5 months or 6 months. It's uncomfortable to think of it from the long-term mentality. But you were just so receptive to it, and you stayed consistent in it. And I know I keep reiterating this point over and over again, but there is no shortcut to that. And because you had that long-term mentality, we actually worked through together a lot of the mental things that maybe were resistance that would come up that you were able to push through. And in no matter whose journey it is, there is going to be resistance going to that next level, whether it be outside of nutrition, just leveling up as a person. And so through your journey over just this past year, when you think of the resistance or some of the things that maybe you feared or the resistance that came up, what did you learn about yourself through that, or how did you work through that resistance?
I think a lot of my resistance was having to pick and choose between things. Like, kind of like what I said earlier in All or Nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, okay, if I'm going to start working with Kelsey again, I'm going to have to give up all these other things. And I've seen that was so not the case this year at all. But yet I still have made really good progress. And like, I've done things this year. Like, I'm not staying at home every weekend. I'm able to do the things that we want to do. And know that, okay, bring the things that you're used to. Because I know we talked about, like, my morning routine, keeping that the same. Keeping familiar items with you when you travel is a great thing. Yeah. Just trying to keep as much normality as you can. But yeah, I've just learned that I put way too much pressure on myself before. And I was like, oh, I have to do this perfectly. I have to do this. And it's like, yeah, you want to be good, but you don't have to be perfect to make progress. Like, it's those consistent habits that you build. And if you fall off a day, just jump right back in the next. And I think before, if I fell off a day, I'd be like, well, oh well. Like,
I can't do it.
Exactly.
I'm not that disciplined person
exactly.
that can do it. Yeah.
And now it's like, no, don't let it spiral. Yeah. If you have days like that, it's going to happen. And I think I've just become more fine with that. And I don't have that much pressure anymore. Like, and I think when you take that pressure off, you're just more bound to do it.
I was just thinking that there's so much irony in what you're saying, because you think of, oh, if I take that pressure off of myself, or if I don't try to be perfect, then, lack of a better way to say it, all hell's going to break loose, right? I'm not going to be on it ever. But what I've seen in you, and this is why it's so cool to me, is whenever you put so much pressure on yourself, or, oh my gosh, I need to get this in 8 weeks, 10 weeks, it was like you were just clenched fists trying to muscle your way through. And inevitably, you're going to fall off as a result. We can't clench our fist really hard for months on end. There's going to be a time where we have to, like, let it reprieve for a bit. And then that's when, not you, but anybody's not perfect, then they think, well, I can't do this. Or, hey, I'm not built for this. Or, hey, this is for them and not me. But what I'm hearing you say and what I've seen in your journey is when you started to open up your hand a little bit and focused on today. I'm not thinking 4, 5, 6 months ahead. I'm not even thinking about the goal that I'm trying to get. I'm trying to think, how am I going to be better in this workout? How am I going to hit my goals nutritionally today? It allows you from trying to just go after a goal to refocusing you on, what am I doing today to get better for me?
Yeah.
And because of that, your consistency has been 10x what it was the first time. And it seems so contradictory because you don't have that pressure on yourself, but it's because you don't have that pressure on yourself and you're trying to just genuinely improve you that consistency is there, which is so cool to me.
Yeah. It is crazy how it works out that way. Yeah. You're 100% right in that if you have a lot of pressure on yourself, like the holding tight thing was a perfect analogy, because you're right, you can't just do this all the time. And I know too, when we would take deload weeks, those were fantastic. I just felt so much better that next week, because I was like, okay, even the prior week, because I knew that deload was coming. So it's like, okay, I'm going to get a little bit of a mental break here, still focus on like good quality reps, but I'm not, crushing per se in the gym. And that's fine. And then that next week, I'm like, okay, I'm rejuvenated. I'm ready. Let's do it. Yeah. And so those deload and those mental breaks are super, super valuable.
Can you say it for those louder in the back?
Breaks are valuable.
Deloads are okay. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I want to double down the training piece, because I remember us talking through this. This was December timeframe, and there were certain movements in the gym, or I would project a certain weight that, and I don't know how I'm going to communicate this best, but almost there was a fear of going to that quote unquote failure in a rep, or there's this resistance more than anything to, well, it's actually hard. And it's not that you resisted the hard, but there was some mental block with that. So can you talk to it, because that's so powerful in your journey, but I also think to many other people listening into this.
Yeah, I think for some reason, when something was feeling really hard or really heavy, I would get it into my brain of, you're not strong enough. Like, you're not able to handle this weight, or you need to be better. Where now, like, working through that, because, you know, there's still days where I'm like, oh, this feels really heavy. But then I'm like, you know what? This is okay. This is good. I want it to feel this way. I don't want it to just be, you know, flinging weights around. I want it to be hard, because that's where you make the most progress. And I think before I just viewed it as a negative of like, oh, I'm so weak. But it's like, no, you're getting stronger. If you do this weight this week and then do that weight next week and you get one more rep, then you're stronger. So it's just cool to see how that plays out throughout this process of looking back to where I started versus where I'm at now, and comparing even like a couple years ago what I was doing before. And it would just be really cool to see how that changes. And yeah, my mentality on it is completely different. I'm not afraid of it. I want it, because I know that's where progress is made.
You see the opportunity, like you see the growth in that. And let's look at it from a macro point of view. And I'm not saying this at you, there's many people that this happens, where as soon as it gets hard, not just in training, but as soon as it gets tough with the consistency or the plan of it, because if we just keep doing the same thing that's easy, it's getting us nowhere. There's going to be some challenge and resistance. That's what produces growth. But there was almost this, oh, I can't. Or I'm like, it was this default. As soon as it got tough, let me default into slowly backdooring, and not at you, to anybody listening, because if I do this thing and I don't do it well, what does this mean about me, right? And instead of that continuing to be the narrative in your brain, you said, no, let me see this as an opportunity. Let me try this. And if I get this, man, I'm stronger. If I don't get it, it doesn't mean anything about me as a human. It means I'm going to try it next time and see if I can do it. And it's just this reframe of, instead of avoiding the hard, instead of avoiding the difficulty in anything in life, you seek it now. And when we seek it out, guess what? It doesn't have any power over us. It's like, all right, let me give it a wink, and let me show it what I can do. And that's what levels somebody up in all areas, is because we're not cowering from the tough. We're stepping up to it, and we're going to show it what we're made of. And you'll amaze yourself every single time. I mean, you're sitting here because you viewed it as an opportunity versus something you can't do, which is so cool to me.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on this whole process, I think the only thing I can really say is that I'm just like proud of my effort.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's hard, but I almost look at it as like a game, which is like crazy, because it's like, okay, how long of a streak can I go?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, how many colored blocks can I have in my check-in sheet? Like, it's just that kind of outside motivation that also helps. But like inside, I know, and I know this is big in XYL, it's like, if you do hard things in this world, you can do hard things in your outside world, whether that's work or friendships, relationships. Like, you can do the thing that may be uncomfortable, or have a hard conversation with a coworker or a friend. It's like you can become a stronger person in all aspects, not just fitness and health.
Yeah. There's two questions I want to ask you.
Okay.
One is, looking back to the Laura 3 years ago, she is an athlete, right? She's doing the thing, not necessarily seeing the results physically, decently spinning her wheels, but nothing is burning up, right? What advice would you give her now with where you're at back then?
I think it's really all revolving around a training aspect in how I would talk to myself. I would tell her, slow down your reps. When I send videos to you and I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's way too fast. What are you doing? And then when you really like the whole mind muscle connection, that was like, I didn't even know what that was before. And now it's like, okay, I'm doing the exercise. I'm feeling what it's doing. I'm picturing it on like one of those anatomy books of like the muscles and what they're doing. And so, yeah, slowing down your reps. If you think you're going slow, you're probably not. Like, video it and then look at it. It'll be crazy. The second one, revolving around training, is you can probably lift heavier than you're lifting. It all goes back to how I used to be afraid of the hard or afraid of the burn. Odds are you can probably lift 5 more pounds, maybe more. At least that's been my experience. So I would tell myself that. And the last thing I would tell myself is, don't believe everything you hear when it comes to fitness. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is bad. But find someone you trust, and it may take trial and error, but when you find that thing that works, stick with it. So yeah, that's what I would tell myself. What I know now, and tell her then. And man, it would be crazy to see me now had that happened earlier.
But now you have the wisdom from it.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much wisdom what you have. And so I'm going to flip this question is, I want you to think about Laura 2-3 years from now in the future. What are some of the things that you're doing to this day, mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever that is, that are habits that you have created for yourself that you want to keep sustaining?
I would say just having the wisdom to know, like, you're gonna have setbacks. You're not gonna feel motivated all the time, and that's all part of the process. If you have a streak of bad days, turn that around. You're not stuck in a hole that you can't get out of. And then I would say, keep with the daily habits. Like, for right now, my daily habit is to go to the gym after work. And if I don't do that, it feels almost like, what am I doing now? Like, I love rest days, don't get me wrong.
She loves her deload weeks too.
I sure do. But it's like, this is just part of the day. Like, I factor it into, okay, I have work, I have working out, and then I go home and my husband and I eat dinner, and then, take a walk outside, whatever. And it's just those daily habits stacked are going to get you to where you want to be. And I would just tell my future self, like, I'm working towards what you want right now. Like, I'm trying to do the things that'll make you proud.
And you're doing it.
Yeah.
I will tell you that much. You are continually doing it. And as this journey honestly is just started for you in the best way possible. Like, physically, you've been doing this for a little while, but with where you're at right now, mentally, physically, emotionally, relationally, like, you are firing on all cylinders, I will say, and you have incredible momentum right now. And that doesn't mean that every single moment of our life here on out, we're going to feel as on fire right now. But I told you this in a check-in, when you're feeling that momentum, be proud of yourself for the actions that has led to this momentum and what you've poured into yourself. But let's keep going. Like, let's keep doubling down on those habits, because as that momentum sometimes will get lost. It happens. It's life. It doesn't mean that you can never get back to a place of high momentum, but double down on that momentum and take a moment to be proud of the effort that you've put in, because these are the good days. And when you're in the thick of it and you're putting in the work, it doesn't feel like it sometimes. But I promise you, as you reflect back, you're like, man, like, I was crushing, and you will continue in the future. But you should be incredibly proud of yourself, because I know I am of you, for sure.
Thank you. That really means a lot. So I appreciate that comment.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else that you have learned in your journey, and this can be tactically, this could be mentally, that you want to share with those listening that might be, yes, firing on all cylinders, or also in that spot where I know there's more within me, but I'm just not there yet? Is there anything else you want to share that you reflected on?
I just think the biggest thing that I would tell other people, and this took me honestly longer than it should have, and I mentioned it already on this podcast, but you don't have to be perfect to make progress. And perfection is not attainable. And it's this invisible thing that you'll never reach, even if you try. And so just doing the best that you can every day is the only thing that I could tell you. And then, like I said, if you keep doing the best you can every day, odds are you're going to be doing the best you can for weeks, for months, for years, and in any aspect of your life. So just go make yourself proud every day, and then just do that the next and the next and the next.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about micro shifts. It's in the book, The Mountain Is You book that you read it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you hear this all the time, like 1% better, you know, focus on that small little habit to implement. And I don't know if it's just the season of life that I'm in, of wanting to kind of pour into myself a little bit more. I don't know what it is, but I have really clung on to the thought of a micro shift, meaning whenever sometimes somebody can feel stuck, or man, I want to do this better. We think we need to 180 everything. And sometimes that means put yourself in a new environment and 180. But for many people, it's what is that small micro shift in your life that you can implement that compounded over time is going to not only lead to different results, it's going to stick and you're going to keep it. And I don't think many people talk about the micro shifts in their lives that will compound over time. And I've also been thinking about, it's a little bit more in depth, you see how my brain operates, is like time horizon. I know for me, I want everything yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I'm trained. That's what my brain's at. Fitness, business, like everything. I can have a tendency to want everything yesterday or want everything tomorrow. And talking about pressure, when I can expand my time horizon of, Kelsey, you have 60 years to build this business. You have 60 years plus to continue to do fitness. This doesn't mean that I completely just kick my feet back and slow it down and do nothing. It actually takes the pressure off of me to be more intentional about the habits that I'm putting into my life to compound over that 60-year time frame. And I don't know if it's just me that hits, but it's just that has been such a game changer for me in my life because it allows me to take off the needing to 180 and to be so incredibly intentional and consistent about those micro shifts that will compound.
Yeah, and I think it kind of brings up another like cliche of trust the process.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, that's good.
I used to hate that phrase. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, yeah, I get it. But then it's like, yeah. And it just like hit different one day. And it's like, I am also one of the most impatient people ever. And like so many people know that about me. It's very clear. And, but like with this, I've learned to trust the process. Yeah. And like, you may not realize that everything that you're doing the past week or month or year are making a difference, but they are. And it's like, it's not going to hit you tomorrow. If I, lift weights today, I'm not going to look completely different tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, do I do those things every day or however many days I need to do them, filling in those check marks. Mm-hmm. And then when I look back on myself now in a year, maybe 3-4 months, mm-hmm. I'll be like, yeah, what I was doing is working. Mm-hmm. And I would just tell current me, like, yeah, just stay on this path. Mm-hmm. Keep doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Like, it's working.
Mm-hmm. We need to clip that and send it to every client that we have. I love everybody that we work with, but that is, I know for me, that was tricky, right?
Yeah.
Tell me to trust the process. I'm in a build, and I think I need to lean out right now. What are you doing? But there is a process to it. There's a system. There's a process. And when you can allow your body to heal and allow yourself to really lean into that, progress is coming, baby. It's just a matter of time, but you have to stay consistent in that process to get to the progress that you want.
Right. And like kind of going back to trusting the process, like when we first started this second time, I was in a maintenance/build for quite a while. And I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't like, I didn't have doubts, but I was just like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this because it's not going to be like this forever.
Yeah.
And, you know, it would be just having those extra carbs, you know, it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it seems like a lot, I guess, but this is what Kelsey wants me to do, and this is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And now, you know, it is working.
Mm-hmm.
The work is working.
Mm-hmm.
So
Come on.
I know. But yeah, it's like if I hadn't done all of that the way you wanted me to, I probably wouldn't have the progress I have now. So it's all part of a master plan.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to trust it and do your best.
Mm-hmm. This is so cool to be here after hopping on a call, 10 plus months ago.
Yeah.
And to hear you say the things today. So I just want to say, as we kind of pull it together, is thank you for trusting the process, and thank you for working the process, because we could have the most beautiful plan laid out, and we've had this, but it takes somebody that is ready to lean into the process. And that means lean into the resistance when that comes up. That means being willing to do things differently than sometimes what their brain wants them to do.
Yeah.
That means continuing to grow as the person as the physical growth comes. So I just want to say I see you, and I'm incredibly proud of not just the outcome that you had, but the person you are but are continually becoming. And that's why I wanted to ask you to be here, because anybody can take it from me. They're like, Kelsey, you've been to do this for, X amount of years, even though I've struggled through everything that you've talked about. But to have somebody that is in it right now, that has had so much growth, that is continually evolving, like, that is the good stuff. That's selfishly what I live for. And that's what lights me up, is to see people like you just break barriers in all areas. So thank you for being the person that you are, and just being willing to share your story too, I think is very powerful.
Well, I appreciate everything that you said, and for having me on, and just for being a great coach. And, if I wouldn't be in this place, I don't think, if I didn't have you. And I just appreciate everything that you've done for me, and just being a positive person. And if I could just impact one person from this, if they could take one thing away, then I'd be happy. So thank you for giving me that opportunity to come on here and talk about my journey.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
I can already tell you. I have probably 5 people to send this to. Go listen to Laura. No, but as we pull it together, is there anywhere that people can reach out to you? And if not, I can direct them to you. Is there anything on social or anywhere that I can send people that if they have questions for you, that they can reach out to you, or also comments on things that you've said that I know have hit home?
Yeah, so I don't have a fitness-related Instagram account, but I do have a personal account, and it is private, but I will take any messages from anybody, and my handle is @LauraAnn10.
Okay.
But yeah, that would probably be the easiest way. So if anybody wants to reach out,
we'll link it
ahead.
up.
Yeah.
We'll link it up. No, this is incredible, and continue on. Just like we said, as momentum's high, we keep doubling down, and you've inspired me too. Just the amount of consistency that you had. So
Thanks.
Keep doing it, girl.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Well, everybody, thank you for joining in. I know that there's been many things in this podcast that I say all the time. We don't just want it to be good things in your ears. We want it to be tactical for you to bring outside of here. So if there's one thing that I've really taken away, is that the habits compounded over time is going to lead to the progress that you've won. So continue to implement that small little micro shift, that small little habit that's going to get you to the version that you're proud of. And have an awesome rest of your week, and we'll see y'all soon. Love y'all.